So big things are happening, all right? I warned earlier how I had a bad feeling about what was going on, and now it is confirmed. The United States is making major threats to North Korea. The Secretary of Defense is coming out and making incredible statements and saying he's going to, quote, end North Korea. All right. Very serious how things can just escalate. Can we go one day? Can we go one day without a country threatening to annihilate another country or threatening to do something like this? This is just insane. This is a crazy time that we are living in. Very dangerous time that we are living in. All right, so let's dive in. And I wanted to remind everyone that just a few months ago, all right, I think like 2 months ago, when Biden was on this trip, he was saying that he will defend South Korea and Japan with nuclear weapons. All right, this is a big thing, and North Korea is the one that's been targeting these countries. So he was saying the U.S. would use nuclear weapons to defend Japan and South Korea and Taiwan. Right, big escalations here. We are seeing a lot of saber rattling, and I was saying it in this other video that North Korea kind of is a proxy state, kind of as a puppet state in a sense, not entirely, but they operate with the approval of China. Most of the stuff they do is not done without the approval of China, right? Because China could just cut them off from the supply chain at any moment. If North Korea got too out of line, China could say, this is too much, we are not supplying you anymore. And the US and South Korea also ran drills just a few months ago as well on a capturing plot of the North Korean leader, right, Kim Jong-Un. It was a plot to capture him with US and South Korean special forces going into North Korea to capture him. And they said the plan was to take his head off. Okay? That's the plan, was to capture him and to take his head off. I'm trying to be careful with my words here, because you know how all this stuff is. This stuff's it's crazy, but this is the plan that they had for the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, and US Special Forces, South Korean Special Forces were doing this drill just a few months ago to carry out this operation. I made a whole video on it, detailing it a few months ago when it happened, because it was insane, and it was kind of shocking that the US and South Korea are doing this drill and making it public. So let's dive into exactly what the secretary is saying, all right? Because this is huge. This just happened. He just came out and said this. He's responding to these North Korean missile launches, and his response is pretty devastating, all right? So let's dive in. This is out of Politico, and it says, Defense Secretary Loyd Austin said during a meeting with his South Korean counterpart Thursday that any North Korean nuclear attack against the United States or others would result in, quote, the end of the Kim regime. Remember what I was just saying about this plot? All right, they already have this planned out, what they want to do. The statement came hours after Pyongyang tested a new intercontinental missile, again raising tensions in the region. Quote, any nuclear attack against the United States or its allies and partners, including the use of non-strategic nuclear weapons, is unacceptable and will result in the end of the Kim regime. That's what Austin said during a meeting with the South Korean counterpart. All right. And he also said that the tests are, quote, destabilizing the region, and he called on them to, quote, cease that activity and to begin to engage in serious dialogue. So this is pretty serious. He said, if you continue to do this, we are going to end the Kim regime. Essentially, partake in regime change in North Korea. This is very serious. We've seen, how many times has the United States operated a regime change operation? Okay, it tried in Syria. It's hasn't worked. Okay, Bashar al-Assad is still in power in Syria, right? So they tried there. Libya, Gaddafi, right? Do you guys remember the famous clip of Hillary where she was joking and she was like, he came, or we came, he saw, and he died. And then she laughs about it, about Gaddafi, the leader of Libya at one point, and he was toppled by the U.S. military. The U.S. military, you know, partook in regime change because they didn't like this person. And there was a lot of speculation around this because apparently he wanted to not use the dollar as an oil reserve currency. He wanted to use gold. He didn't want to trade with the dollar. He didn't want anything to do with the dollar. So there was a lot of speculation around maybe that's why he was taken out. There's also a lot of other things going on, but pretty crazy how the U.S. has partook in regime change, and now they're saying this will be the end of the Kim regime if you continue this. Like, is the U.S. going to send military forces into North Korea? Right? I had a bad feeling about this. I was worried. I was like, this is a big escalation. They were even saying one of these intercontinental, whatever, ICBMs. I can't say it good, right? Sorry about that. Sometimes I get my words jumbled up here. But one of the ICBMs, all right? It didn't even, it was a failed missile test, all right, from North Korea. So they were saying that it launched and it didn't even go to its intended targets and it hit way off. So things like this are very dangerous too. What if, the missile test, like, oh, it's supposed to go over Japan. What if it accidentally hits Japan? All right. And that's what people are worried about. And now we're seeing the response from the U.S. is, hey, we might just implement regime change. All right. And this is something the U.S. has done. This isn't like a joke. This isn't like we've never done this before. This is what the U.S. does all over the world. Just multiple countries. This has happened. The U.S. has invaded and overthrown their leader and implemented a new leader that's more friendly to the West. So let me know what you think about all this, guys. This is getting very serious, very real. All the stuff happening. I really hope that this doesn't happen, but I mean, the U.S. saying this, they probably will do this. I mean, like, the military-industrial complex loves war, okay? They love this stuff. So why wouldn't they want another war, and then they would get a leader in there that's more friendly to the West instead of more friendly to China. Who knows? Maybe this is what they want. I have no idea, speculating. But thank you guys for watching. Please stay prepared, and you guys have a big old blessed day.